Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. You taking the time to have a chat with me.
Yeah, of course.
So, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you want to just give a brief introduction as to who you are, maybe what your interests are, what you do, kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm Benjamin. I'm 17. I'm from the UK. Um, I'm currently in college and I'm doing film studies. I'm hoping to go to university for that next year as well. Yeah, I suppose my main interests are film and kind of digital media. And yeah, I've been on
Okay,
self improvement for about 2 years.
okay. We'll touch on both sides. Let's start with the self improvement side. So, before you even came across that, like, more than 2 years ago,
Hmm.
what did your life look like? Like, what habits did you have? How was your mental
Oh,
health? All of that kind of stuff.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you saw my video of the self improvement journey. Yeah, so
Yeah,
not great. I mean, it's kind of like what every other person my age had. I didn't think of it as unusual or harmful, I guess, as I would now. But I mean,
yeah,
my day would just be filled of YouTube, um, video games. Literally from as soon as I wake up, I'd wake up, um, watch like I'd watch. It got so bad, so I watched YouTube while in the shower. Like I watched it from
really.
when I left the house. I was doing everything, yeah. Um, and then I'd come straight home from school. Um, then go. I'd play games while watching YouTube. I'd go to sleep after 4 hours of watching YouTube in bed. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I that's basically what it was like. I wasn't doing much productive. It was just all kind of filling time.
I see. Yeah. Very relatable story for most people who end up finding
Yeah,
like the whole
definitely.
self improvement space. Yeah. So, how did you, in fact, come across the whole idea? Was it a YouTuber? Like, how did
Hmm.
you come across the idea of self improvement?
So I don't really know if it. I sort of suppose it says it counts as self improvement, but have you ever heard of Matt Diavella?
The name rings a bell, but I don't know where it's from.
Oh, okay. So he's and a couple other people as well. I watched a video where it's like I tried cold showers for 30 days, or I tried
Oh, right. Yeah.
no sugar for 30 days, like kind of 30 days um, experiments. Or I learned a new skill. I learned how to do like a perfect circle with chalk on a blackboard.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so it all came from them kind of videos where you sit there at 2 a.m. thinking, "Oh, these guys are so cool," while lying in bed. Um, I won't do none of that, but so it kind of initially came from that, and that's when I started um, kind of trying. I tried to do them 30 days things like for 1 month. I called it freezing February, where I had cold showers every day. Um,
Ah,
that's really
okay.
where it came from. Um, but it all kind of didn't kick off until I discovered Hamza and people like that. There's a few others. It's around that time, um, pretty
Yeah.
early, mid last year. Um, yeah, that's where I started rethinking all of my actions and naturally kind of fell apart from video games, YouTube, social media, things like that. And that's, I think, what's changed my life completely, to be honest.
I see. Nice. Really inspirational story, man. So, okay, so you find, Hams and all of them people start doing cold showers, all of that kind of stuff. So, what other activities do you do now that you didn't do before? What would you say your life looks like now?
Um, so I normally don't check my phone until, well, I'll go into chronological order. So I wake up,
Okay.
I'll normally get my breakfast and sit outside eating it while looking at the sun, or kind of,
Oh yeah,
you know,
the sunrise.
getting
Yeah.
sunlight. Yeah. And then I'll normally probably get a shower or cold shower, um, brush my teeth, do some meditation, then try and get into some deep work. Just kind of a simple routine just to start the day. And normally
Yeah.
either before the deep work or after. I'll check my phone from the night before.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot. My day's a lot more purposeful. Definitely, I do everything intentionally. Of course, there's a few times where I slip up and I find myself on my phone, but
yeah,
yeah, but there's a lot more structure and intention to my day.
I see. Okay, big changes, man. I love that. Okay, so
Yeah,
you've mentioned like, so you first came across, like that. I tried first cold showers for 30 days and stuff like that,
yeah.
and you still do them now.
I try to. Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
every shower, I at least end it with like a minute of a cold shower. But
Okay,
that's
I
I do not
see.
do good in the cold. Um,
Understandable.
but yeah, there's a lot
So,
of habits. Uh, yeah, you go first.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say, like, when you did that, 30 days or 28 days or whatever of, doing cold showers, did you see
Yeah.
any changes, any improvements? Like, what effect or impact did it have on you? Would you say?
Um, I suppose at the end it was kind of more is easier to get in. It
Yeah,
felt a lot more refreshing, but when you get out compared to just being freezing and uncomfortable. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot of work, a lot of like just trying to convince yourself to do it. But I think it builds discipline. The main thing.
builds discipline. Yeah.
I was just well, first of all, the cold showers are still
Oh
uncomfortable,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I just find it more refreshing as well. Because like before, it'd
yeah,
be just uncomfortable. I get out, I can't wait to get a towel on me and get warm. But
yeah.
now it'd be like I'm
Absolutely.
uncomfortable at first, but then it's really refreshing and kind of wakes me up. Um,
It does. Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Absolutely.
but I do a lot of good habits now that I would have never done a few years ago. I mean, I got a whole
Yeah.
gratitude journal like a year ago. I filled that out now because it's like a
Oh, nice.
daily one. So I just do it on my phone now. Yeah, gratitude journal,
Okay.
meditation, reading. I've got all these notes of books I've read. I've made a few notes
Nice.
from the books. I'm really trying to learn more French that I did in secondary school. I'm trying to keep that up.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't really. Yeah, there's just a lot of yeah meditation, gratitude
Okay.
journaling, reading, going to sleep early is the main one. No social media on my phone. Um, I've got a question for you actually. Do you have
Yeah, absolutely.
social media on your phone? Because I'm sure as a content creator, that's kind of a hard
Yeah.
balance to go between self improvement and creating content.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's on and off. There'd be times where I won't use any social media at all for like 2, 3 months, nothing on my phone, maybe just Discord and YouTube. But, I run the server and, of course, my YouTube channel. But there'd be times where, like, for example, you know, I'm reaching out to people for podcast episodes, so I might need Instagram because that's where they're going to be like the most active, or like with my social media marketing agency, it's mainly surrounded around TikTok influencers. So I'm trying to find more influencers, which means I've got to consume content and all that kind of stuff. So with that kind of business model, it is a bit difficult when you don't really want to use social media, but
Yeah.
it's just something that you've got to do sometimes, like keeping
Mm.
up with the latest trends and stuff like that. So, but I do try my best not to like delve too deep into content that isn't beneficial for me, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily have a problem with social media in itself. It's just the content that you consume that's really important, because there's
Yeah.
people who have social media and use it a lot or whatever, never delete it, but they're still doing really well because they are really they pay a lot of attention to what they're consuming, so it doesn't impact them negatively. So yeah, I'd say it's sometimes I have it, sometimes I just like, oh yeah, I'm tired, I delete it, and then I take a
Yeah.
break.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I don't have any social media on my phone. I don't even have YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just Discord
Oh
I
wow.
have. Um, But I mean, I
I
sometimes get the
see.
web apps up if I really need to, like
Yeah,
if I really need to respond to someone or watch a YouTube tutorial or something. But I
yeah,
mean, it is a kind of a struggle because obviously I have my own YouTube channel and trying to run my own business, so it's kind of hard
mm,
to annoying to message people on like PC. But
yeah,
I know that
exactly.
I'd get I've been addicted to like Instagram and things before, so I know I just get sucked back into that. So there's some people around me
Yeah,
that are like um, also run like small film businesses, and are kind of in the
yeah,
industry, and they have social media and they find it really useful just to have like instant access to people. But yeah, I know for me, it's kind
exactly.
of like a double-edged sword. So yeah, for me, I know I just
Yeah,
get too addicted. So yeah,
understandable. That's pretty much me with TikTok. Once I start scrolling, it takes a lot of mental resilience to just be like, no, I'm stopping. But
yeah.
yeah, I totally get that. Okay, so moving aside from like social media and stuff, let's talk a bit about business. So you
Mm.
said you have a business. Do you mind talking a bit about like what your business is like about?
Sure. I mean, it's a filming business, so I've made a
Yeah.
few of my own short films. I have my own podcast that I mean, the season's just ended during a break, but weekly
All right.
episodes of that talking about films as well with a couple friends.
Nice.
There's a newsletter. It's all about creating films and videos, basically. So adverts for people, um, own short films, trailers, everything, film and TV,
Everything.
basically. Yeah,
Nice. The whole
yeah.
shebang.
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got like a comedy TV series, totally coming out kind of early next year. But yeah,
Okay. Nice. That's sick, man. How did you get into, what made you interested in films and what made you also decide to start a business surrounding film?
um, so I originally got it into it from YouTube, which I guess is one kind of positive thing
Yeah,
from that era. It was
definitely.
all I was really interested in editing. That's where I first got into it. So I mean, I already know Premiere Pro. I've literally used that since I was 12.
Oh wow,
So
nice.
I got a lot of experience on that, and then yeah, so I originally wanted to do editing at university and college. So I thought, well,
Yeah,
to do that, I need to be able to do film studies because that's the only place you can do editing really.
yeah,
And that kind of just broadened my horizons to the whole film industry. So
I see.
it was like last year, I started making my own short films just to kind of practice for college and university. And then from
Yeah,
there, I was like, well, I might as well make a place to put all the short films. And then from there, I thought, well, I might as well um, advertise to local businesses. So I've got a skill to show off. So that's just kind of how it went.
nice. Nice, man. It's really impressive. So, what would you say are some of the lessons that you have learned from, starting a business at such a young age that you may not have learnt otherwise?
I guess communication skills. Uh, I've kind of learned
Yeah.
because I don't know. It's really different talking to people online through text and not using words. Because it's a lot
Okay.
harder to get emotion across without sounding like a scammer, basically,
That's
if you're trying
true.
to post.
That
So
is very
that's
true.
definitely something I've learned. Um, but yeah, I think I've also learned kind of money management, which is I think essential. Um, I guess self
Yeah,
improvement key skill because I know
absolutely.
that before I would have just spent like all my money straight away, but when I have to keep a certain amount in my bank account for like monthly transactions, like to pay for like the website and my IMDb
Yeah.
Pro subscription and all the different kind of subscriptions I have. Um, yeah, I didn't really think of that, but yeah, I think money management
Mm,
is definitely something you learn.
yeah, absolutely. Nice, man. Okay. So you're 17, right? you're still
Yeah.
in college, you've got a business, and your daily routine is pretty much packed with all the good habits, all the good stuff. How what how did you build the discipline into, doing all of these things? Like, what do you think is different about you from the average person on self improvement? What do you think, is the reason why you've been able to build so much discipline, so much consistency, and build all these things?
I'm not sure. Well, I think my work drive.
Yeah,
I think like I've noticed is kind of unmatched from people around me since like from a young age. Like if I
I
really want to do
see.
something, um, then I would 100% do it and dedicate everything to that. I used to have loads of like kind
Nice.
of YouTube channels back in the day of gaming and things, and I used to do it with some other people. I had a few group ones, but they always fell through
Mm,
because I'd be doing 90% of the work, even if
yeah.
they like want to. I'd get too impatient and just kind of do everything. I'm still yet to find someone my age in person that has the same kind of
Yeah.
work drive as me. I don't want to
Mm.
sound too bragging, but
No,
you know,
not at all.
I really think if I put my mind to something, then I know I have the willpower to follow through with it. But as for building up my kind of daily routine and what sets me apart, I don't really know. I think it's just time, to be honest. I think I'm glad I discovered self improvement at a young age,
Yeah.
because that kind of I'm still young now, but that's given me.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not. Um, I'm glad I've got to this point already without experiencing many more years of unproductiveness, essentially. Um, so I don't think I'm
Yeah.
necessarily more skilled than other people. I think I'm luckier to have discovered self improvement at the time I did. I think if other people did and they were in the right spot, then they would have also taken the same path as me. But something I've discovered, not discovered, but kind of think is that if someone if someone isn't in a worse enough position that they need self improvement, then they will just think the whole thing's kind of crazy. Because I've tried to convince
Uh,
friends to be on it, but they're perfectly fine with having like 15 hours of screen time a day, um, like
I
things like that.
see.
Their mental health is good enough where they don't notice how much their life could be improved. And I think it's really hard to convince someone when they feel fine how much better their life possibly could be. If that makes sense.
That's absolutely true. Like, there's a quote that I came across recently, and it's something along the lines where it's like, change only takes place when the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of making the change, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
So, if maybe they're slightly unhappy, but they're not, if they're not as unhappy to the point where they need to change themselves or anything, that's why they just stay the same kind of
yeah,
thing. So yeah, I absolutely get what you're trying to say. Okay, so touching upon like a mental health a bit, what would you say
yeah.
is the biggest problem or distraction that teens and young people face today that affects their mental health the most? Is it social media? Is it video games? Maybe bad eating habits, lack of exercise, no sunlight or nature? What would you say?
Um, I think just generally it's giving kids. I'd say like kids are getting iPads at age 5 and kind of things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Giving kids technology and just access to technology at a really young age is, in my view, just a bad idea. Um, I think
Mhm.
that if a kid is over, say, like 10 or 12, then they should definitely have access to technology. But social media, I mean, everything you kind of mentioned is causing it. But I think it's just a lack of moderation. If I'm honest, I think a lot of parents are kind of new to this kind of thing and just because everyone else around them is doing the same thing, they don't realize how negatively things like social media can impact a child. So
Mm,
I think social media and video games and kind of all the technology is very useful. It can be very useful, but a kid is not going to have the willpower. A 12-year-old is not going to have like the right state of mind to think, I've spent too long on TikTok today, I should come off. I think
yeah,
that parents just don't have the knowledge um, to moderate their kids' time on these things.
I see. Yeah, that's true, actually. Okay, so in an ideal world, what would be the best solution? Would you say is it, maybe a time limit on these apps, or is it, censoring, like maybe banning some pieces of content? What would you say is the
Yeah,
solution, or is it maybe just enlightening and teaching, educating parents on the topic?
yeah. I mean, I think trying to teach a 12-year-old this kind of stuff is kind of useless in a sense. I think unless you've lived through it, um, then it's really hard to kind of and experience the other side. And I think it's really hard to see what you were doing is negative. It's like what I was saying about trying to convince your friends. Like they're the 12-year-olds on the iPads. They're in a good enough state of mental health that they
Yeah,
don't think, or they've never experienced something else to change the state of mind. But I think 100% limiting adult content to 18 plus and putting a hard age barrier on that, um, that's essential. And all like things on social media that are kind of too sexual. I don't know what the solution would be, but I think things like that is also like over sexualization is kind of influencing children as well. Um, I don't know what the
definitely.
solution would that be because it's kind of hard to define. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, it might kind of seem harsh, but I'd wish there was like one day a week where no one could have access to social media. I mean, that'd be impossible because of
Ah.
businesses and the whole kind of business world. I think it'd be
Yeah,
amazing for people just to communicate with people who are closest to them in person. Um, but yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
a realistic answer, a time limit, definitely. Um, Even like 1 hour a day is a lot less than what some of these kids are using, and I think that's a reasonable solution.
Nice answer. Okay, noted. Do you read any books, by the way? Like, what's your take on self-help, self-improvement kind of books?
Yeah, I mean, I've showed you the notes I've got down. I like to
Yeah.
write them down, and just I can go back to them whenever I need to. But it's also like a nice way when I finish a book, just to write down some notes. It's like a closing thoughts of the book and kind of cement it. I feel like when I write something down, it kind of also gets written down in my mind. I remember it a lot more if I physically write
Mm,
it down on paper, um, than if I than if I write it down on digitally. Um, I really liked The
that's
Way of the
fair.
Superior Man. That that was a really helpful book.
Mm,
Um, and I just finished The
nice.
4 Hour Work Week as well by Tim Ferriss, and that was really inspiring to see just how easy it could be to travel the world or limit your time working and free it up for other things. I didn't realize how simple the work life balance really could be.
That's interesting.
What's
Okay.
some of your favorite books that you've read?
Favorite. Ooh, I always say this one. It has to be for me, the subtle art of not giving a.
Yeah,
The word. Yeah,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
PG friendly here. Yeah, but that book. I
yeah,
think that one really made an impact on me. Like, just living how I want to live, not really caring what other people
yeah,
think about
hundred
me, and
percent.
just realizing that a lot of people, or everyone has their own like issues, their own problems in their life. So then not really focusing on you as much as you think. Like, it sounds rude to say that, you know, you're not special, like no one cares about you, but
It's
it's kind
so
of
correct.
a liberating
Yeah,
thought as well because it makes you just live how you want to live without the feeling that
Mm.
people are judging you constantly. So it's kind of a good way to think as well, I guess. So definitely that one.
Yeah.
What else? I think this one, I mean, not many people actually like this one, I'd say, but just, the Rich Dad Poor Dad, because that was the first one that I
Mm.
did read about, anything linked to kind of self improvement or whatever. And it just really got me hooked into it and, realizing like how 99 basically percent of the population are just living in the rat race,
Yeah.
and that really like, I'm not going to say scared me, but I just knew I don't want that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
it kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Millionaire Fastlane did the same thing for me, where I was like, wow,
Yeah,
you look around you and think how many of the people around you are living on minimum wage and are never going to
yeah,
make enough money to do what they want. It's kind of, yeah,
exactly. It's
it's kind of
crazy.
scared, a scary thought. But yeah, I've never
Absolutely.
read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I've seen it like
Oh,
everywhere. It's
okay.
one of them books you always see. Um,
Yeah,
it seems like a
exactly.
classic, but yeah, I've never read it.
Right now, I've got a couple of questions for you about, like, think of yourself as a therapist now. You're good on giving advice. So say
Yeah,
there is a 16-year-old or 18-year-old, 17-year-old, and they are addicted to video games or, they're addicted to social media. What is what is would you say is the best way for them to get rid of that addiction? How does someone go about getting rid of an addiction or getting rid of a bad habit that they have in their life?
that's a really difficult topic to answer because yeah, I mean, if they don't realize that they're addicted or they don't think that what they're doing is
Mm,
bad, then it's almost impossible to convince them, just to convince that their entire way of thinking to change. Um,
yeah,
'Cause say they realize what they're doing is bad, they've just tried to get on for self improvement. Um,
yeah,
I just the way I think about it is, I always picture um, kind of first of all what I'd want my ideal day to look like, and um,
yeah,
how I kind of lay out. I write down on the calendar what I want to be doing at each time. I just make myself follow that, um, and also what I want my life to be like. I think that's a big one. What you want yourself to be like? What would they do? Um, like, what would your
that's
future
interesting.
self or the person that you want to be do? What would they sit down and play video games, or would they do some work? But I think it's yeah, I think it's really hard for a person just starting to try and think about these things when they're so used to everything. So I guess small changes. Um, I mean, like in Atomic Habits, just trying to get rid of them small habits, like small bad habits, like waking up and checking your phone. Maybe go downstairs and have breakfast, and then come back up and you'll check your phone. Just small things you can do to improve your life, and small things you can implement. Uh, I'm, I meant small things you can remove to improve your life,
Yeah,
and then other
yeah,
small habits you can implement to also improve your life. Because realistically, you're not going to be able to wake up one day and think, my ideal self would get up, do an hour of meditation, do 4 hours of deep work, and then go to the gym for 3 hours. Um, I think it's that whole. Have you read Atomic Habits?
part of it. I don't know what it's like. I
Yeah.
never
Okay.
actually got around to finishing it, but yeah, I know
Oh,
the
fair
whole kind
enough.
of gist about yeah,
Yeah, just the concept of getting like 1% better every day, I think,
yeah.
is really valuable, and just taking small steps. Um, yeah, try
Mm,
1% better every day.
nice,
That's the advice.
great answer. Okay, and would you say you've ever been in a rut? You've been going hard, grinding, working hard, and there's just been a period of time where you've kind of felt, lazy, lethargic. You're not really wanting to do any of the good habits after you've already gotten to self improvement, or would you say that's not really been a problem for you?
Um, I don't think so. I think because everything's kind of ingrained into my routine so much that I don't even think twice about doing them. Um, like recently, I've stopped using
Nice.
a habit tracker because every day I was just getting a perfect day. So I thought, well, there's no point in tracking this. I know what I need to do. Um, yeah, I
Wow,
think really
nice.
uh, just the basic habits are ingrained so much into my routine. Um, and it's not like I'm grinding or hustling for like 7 hours a day. I think I have a reasonable um, kind of balance with everything. Um, yeah, I don't think really I have been in a rut. Yeah, I think
Okay,
I just kind of balance everything. I'm not unreasonable with what I do. I just intentionally use my time, I'd say.
I see. Okay, that's fair enough. I was gonna ask, okay, how would you advise someone to get out of rut? But I guess we'll leave that one there because it doesn't matter.
Have
Okay,
you
so
been in many ruts
what's that?
yourself?
I think so. I think maybe around the beginning where I was like, when I just, found the whole idea and I was, there's just like all this adrenaline, excited. So then you go into it, I go in really hard. And then I realized like, I wouldn't say it's not a rut as in I'm tired or anything. It's just learning how it's difficult it is to be just consistent in doing the same kind of things every day.
Mm,
So I'd say it was more of a mental kind of thing,
yeah,
rather than like physical or burnt out kind of whatever.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I wouldn't say I really get them anymore. It was mainly towards the beginning, just like, oh, all the adrenaline is gone. So now I'm like, it was a mental kind of battle kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely understand what you say. It's just like it just gets ingrained into you, so then you don't really have to think about it.
yeah, definitely. I
Absolutely.
do. There's been times where I've started doing a new habit, um,
Yeah.
or got into a new phase. I guess I've I got really into something, and I think, oh, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do. I buy loads of things. I start getting really into it. It's like I'm gonna do this 3 hours a day, and then after like a week,
Yes.
I've never touched it again. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
We've all
there's
been
kind of
there.
that. Yeah, but no, I wouldn't say completely in a rut. I mean, there's
Okay.
some times where I don't have enough time, or I waste like a day doing some things, but it's never more than like a couple days or a day. Um, it's just because of like a few mistakes I made that day. But that's why I like the journal, just to reflect on what I've done. How can I make tomorrow better? Um, but yeah, never for an extended period of time.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. So, what are the next steps in the life of Benjamin? Like, what would you say are your short term and long term goals for anything, business, mental health, fitness, whatever it might be?
um, uh, I mean, I'd like things. I really like to have to bulk up a lot, but that's kind of hard to measure in a goal. I haven't like got a number
Fair.
set for that, but
Okay,
I'm
that's
really
fair.
trying to have abs while bulking, which is
Oh yeah,
so
the lean
annoying.
bulk.
It's the eternal struggle, yeah. And my genetics are kind of got like all like my all my body fat goes like where my abs are. So I've got like wide
Oh
hips,
yeah,
and even when like a couple years ago, I was like really I tried to get really skinny to get abs, and it's still like hard. I still hard to see them then, because I've still got like the
I
wide
see.
hips. So
Yeah,
it's trying to get abs while also um like not being skinny. I want to be bulking
yeah.
while also having abs. That's like a goal of mine.
Okay, nice. It's a good
Uh,
goal.
yeah, and then I really I don't know. I really like just making films. I want to have. I say by end of next year, I want to have No, that's too ambitious. That's not. By the end of
Really?
2025, I want to have a full length film out. I think. Um,
Oh, okay, I see.
I know that take a lot of time, but it's a lot cooler than saying you just have a short film out because and you can put that on a DVD. You can do everything with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have any long term goals. Um, I
Okay,
mean, be
that's fair.
financially free. That's everyone's kind of
Yeah,
goal. I really
absolutely.
like to travel. Um, After university, I
Mm,
got plans. Just kind of, I'm one of them people that just like exploring places. Just
yeah.
kind of walking around cities or villages, just like with a one backpack, just solo traveler. Um,
I
yeah,
see.
just being able
Nice.
to travel. But yeah, I think just kind of carry on what I'm doing, basically,
Perfect.
and we'll
Yeah.
see where life takes me. 'Cause I'm
The
sure
daily grind.
when I get to university, life will massively change, moving away from home and um, things like
Yeah,
that. I
absolutely.
see how the university culture affects me. See how my self improvement will still be. How have you coped in university?
I think it's been pretty good because I guess you get to really live on your own terms, kind of thing. So, going to the gym, all of that kind of stuff. I think, well, because I just finished my first year, at the beginning, finding the balance was definitely difficult, but it gets easier along the way, finding your routine and, kind of balancing it with uni life, lectures, all of that kind of stuff. But I would say the university is very difficult. It's very important because it can be difficult to find, people who kind of align with your ambitions and stuff,
Mm,
depending on the uni and kind of stuff that you go to. But yeah, I would say it definitely gets easier. And as I go into my next year, I've kind of already been through the figuring it out kind of stuff. So the progress is only going to go up for sure.
nice. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Have you
man.
found many people that have the same values as you and the same goals as you?
Is that at uni or just in general?
Just in general, like same like people that are on self improvement or have the same kind of ambitions as you. I feel that's kind of rare
Mm,
for people our
yeah,
age.
I'd say not in real life, like not necessarily. No, I'd say there's people who have similar interests as me in certain aspects, but they're all kind of like dotted around. So, say I might have a friend who I go to the gym with, or I have a friend
Yeah,
who I can talk to about business, but there's not, I can't really find people who are interested in every, the whole shebang,
yeah, yeah,
meditating,
100, yeah,
journaling, reading. So, yeah, I'd say there's definitely it's more of an online community kind of thing where you can find that those type of
yeah,
people, but
definitely,
in person, it is quite difficult. Like, it made me realize now, actually thinking about it, that although you see like all the millions of views and hundreds of thousands of views on these kind of videos about self-improvement, there's actually not it's actually still a small minority of people who are actually working
definitely.
constantly to becoming a better version of themselves, because if not, you'd be seeing them, it's be common to have friends like that, but it really isn't.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, I've got friends like, say, uh, one of them goes to the gym, one of them meditates, one of them's really into money,
Yeah,
but there's no like kind of one person um, that's kind of all the things. Like
exactly.
every, not to say they're bad people, but
Yeah,
like say some of my friends they'd have some good like kind of self improvement habits, but they go to the gym, say they journal, but maybe they'd
yeah.
be on video games for 2 hours a day. They'd like be scrolling on TikTok and things. So
Oh, I
I
see.
mean, yeah, so it's kind of hard to find um, people that are like true good influences um,
Yeah,
in real life. I think, but I think that's what made the self improvement online community so good because everyone's got such like
absolutely.
a common cause and a common interest.
Exactly.
How did
That's it
you
right there.
discover self improvement?
Hamza.
All
Straight
right,
up.
yeah,
I think I was, when was it? It was, I'd say a year ago now, just over a year ago. I think I was, looking, I was searching up, there's kind of videos where it's like, oh, 7 side hustles, or how to
Yeah,
make money, stuff like that. Because I wasn't really interested in getting a job or anything like that. I just wanted a ton of money, really quickly. And one of the Hamza videos came up, and I can't remember the title, but it was like how to act something like how to actually get rich quick or something like that. And it was
yeah,
kind of a clickbait video, because he in the video he was talking about like how you clicked on this video because you wanted a quick answer, but there is no kind of quick answer. So I was like, oh, nice. But
yeah,
and I kind of needed that like harsh reality kind of.
mm,
He says it things very bluntly, and he doesn't really care about your feelings. He just tells you the truth, and he says it like the way it is, and that kind
yeah,
of interested me. So I started watching more of his videos, and that's how I kind of found other people and immersed myself literally into the whole shebang. Really,
yeah. Did you find that making your own self improvement videos
yeah,
just kind of like motivated yourself more to do those good habits? Did it give you like a sense of accountability when you uploaded?
absolutely 100%. Like I'm really big on accountability. Like, in my Discord server, we do the weekly
Yeah, yeah,
accountability, because, yeah, I'm really big on it. And I try to find as many ways as possible to keep myself accountable, because I feel like when, for example, other people know what you're doing, or you have accountability partners, you don't want to let them down, or, because that's kind of letting yourself down. And maybe there might be a bit of ego in it as well. Like, I've got to show them who's boss. I don't want to be the one that's like,
yeah,
lacking behind kind of thing. So yeah, I'd say um, posting on YouTube, it definitely helps keep me accountable, because I don't like people who don't, practice what they preach, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And I'd say also just like, to document my journey, because I'm still not, of course, I'm not 100%. I'm still growing, learning all of this stuff. I'm still young, still got a lot of way to go. So I just want to, Iman Gaji?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was documenting since he was like 15, 16, and look where he is now. So I kind of want to do that as well, and just see
yeah,
what happens, just
yeah,
see, watch all my videos back and when I'm like 23 or 12, 5, and just see what happens.
yeah. Just on like your throne made out of money.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think definitely like for me, it was telling my friends, not like telling them, but kind of introducing them to self improvement and telling
yeah,
them about the good habits. Um, like I think that really introduced a sense of
yeah,
accountability to me because I was like the role model. Like my
yeah.
friends saw me as the one that did all these good habits. So I
Mm.
made sure, like, if I told someone, I gifted one of my friends like that same gratitude journal that I was using,
Oh,
and I was like,
nice.
"Here, take this," and I made sure to do that. I mean, I was anyway, but that
Yeah.
that really made me do it every day. Um, just as soon as I told
Mm.
someone something, um, like it really made me extra motivated to keep doing it. And
Yeah.
like I do before I do an action, I think with my friends, like I don't know if it's weird because they probably don't care. I know they probably wouldn't care, but it's like this is not
Yeah.
who like what this is not what they think of me as like this kind of role model. So that really was kind of a cool feeling, which I can imagine is like the same
Mm.
from uploading videos because you want to be that role model.
Yeah.
And if you didn't practice what you preach, then
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like, what's the point?
yeah, there is, yeah,
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not about like, oh, say, delete all your social medias. And if I ended up downloading them back again for whatever reason, or like, but not just to download them, but like binge watching like a bunch of bad content,
yeah,
that is something where it's like, okay, it shows that I'm not imperfect, but I wouldn't hide that from my audience or whatever. I'd tell them, and tell them, why did I do this and how I'm going to bounce back and stuff like that. Because it's more authentic, it's genuine. Because no creator is perfect, if that makes any sense. There's always
no,
going to be things that happen and stuff like that. So that's what I really appreciate in creators that I watch. They're genuine, they're authentic. So even if they preach something and then they end up doing what they don't preach, if they say that they, made a mistake or whatever it is, I'd still say that they're still
Yeah.
credible people because it shows that they're human.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Hamza because he keeps like
Yeah,
contradicting himself and keep going back on what he said. But I love the
yeah,
fact that he's kind of genuine with what he says. I mean, he's not perfect, but yeah, that's kind of the part that I like, that
exactly.
um, he always like says when he's gone wrong, like in
Yeah,
retrospect. What would you say is
exactly.
your biggest like challenge, that the bad habit you keep falling back into?
Ooh, bad habit. Oh, without a doubt, it's got to be my eating habits. Like, I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
the exercise part. I love exercising, going to the gym, sports, whatever it is. But I know that I'd make so much more progress if I just didn't like, I don't know, chocolate or cookies or biscuits or whatever
yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's just like the quick dopamine hit or whatever you kind of thing. Like um. And the problem is like there's no nutrients, there's a lot of calories, so it's like I don't really know why. So that's just the one
yeah,
that I always end up going back to. But other than that, I don't think I think I'd say that's definitely the one that needs to
yeah.
be worked on. How about you?
I mean, I was gonna say just time on my phone, because I don't have
All right.
social media on my phone, but I still kind
Yeah.
of like turn on my phone just to look at notifications. I'm like kind of
I see.
like irrationally, even though there's like going to be nothing on there, because the only thing literally that people can message me on there is WhatsApp. Um,
Yeah.
but kind of just wasting time on my phone, maybe like looking on Spotify, or just kind of wasting time. I don't even know what on. That's just kind of like flicking between emails and Discord and things like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, you said eating, and I think that probably
Yeah.
is my biggest thing as well. It's just because if you catch
Uh,
me in the like in some mindsets, you could give me like anything, and I'd say there's no way I'm eating that. That would mess up my goals. But
yeah.
sometimes you just get caught in like the wrong mindset, and then
Exactly.
that's it. Yeah,
Exactly.
um, I think especially when you have people around you like eating bad things. I mean, my family aren't like
Yeah.
particularly unhealthy, but say if they all are having like a dessert, like a chocolate cake or something,
Oh yeah.
it's 10
I
times
have to.
harder.
Yeah. That's definitely, yeah. It's so difficult. I wish I was that disciplined, but yeah, the temptation is just too much. I
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
agree.
I think
That's the thing.
I definitely have a better diet than what I used to. I mean, it's never particularly
Yeah, absolutely.
that bad, but compared to like the average person and my past self, I think it's probably better. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
nowhere near like perfect bodybuilder discipline. Yeah,
yeah. I'd say, but that it's more realistic, because maybe you have a cheat meal here and there, but if that's gonna, stop you from binge eating and just having an awful diet, then I'd say that it's still better than, you know,
yeah,
not
100%.
than anything else. So yeah,
With we had the
absolutely.
exercise as well. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, you'd look much better, and just on.
yeah,
Yeah, I think the exercise helps a lot.
absolutely. That's what keeps me, not adding a huge ton of weight from the snacks that I have.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
And the thing is, especially when it comes to like studying and stuff, because like with uni assignments and projects, a lot of uni students do like all nighters and stuff, and you don't really want to have a meal, so you just have snacks whilst you're studying, and it can when you're doing like 7 8 hour night all nighters just studying or getting an assignment done, it can pile up pretty quickly.
wow. Yeah, that's what I said earlier about trying to adjust to the university life. I don't know how
Yeah,
my self improvement's going to be initially. Um,
mm,
I mean,
that's fair.
what's the culture there like? Is it what I imagine? Is it
Yeah,
like really unhealthy partying? Um,
100%. If you're in the UK, it's it doesn't even matter
Yeah,
what university you're at. There's gonna be a lot of, I don't know, partying clubs, um, alcohol, all of that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it is very, very difficult to like kind of stay away from it. But the thing is, I wouldn't say if you are interested in it, I wouldn't say, just look down on the people who do it and stay away from them. I'd say maybe, try it. If you don't like it, then that's perfectly fine. But I'd say it all comes again down to, the discipline, knowing what your goals are, knowing what your values are, and that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So can be difficult at times, but it's just got to literally just got to, stay strong kind of thing. That's what I'd say.
yeah. I mean, that's like the first time in your life where nobody's there for you, nobody's holding you accountable. It's just you.
Exactly.
Um,
So it's a
but
place where you see a lot of people go downhill as well. That's the problem. It's a sad thing
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's the first bit of freedom that they have. So they get into, all these drugs and everything stuff. So it's it can be a slippery slope. You just got to be, mentally resilient, stuff like that. Don't really and know who you're hanging around with as well. That's really important.
yeah. Well done for not falling off, for not going
Thank
downhill.
you. I tried.
Yeah, but
Wait,
it
so
does
do you
seem
have
like
any idea? What's that?
it does seem like kind of like the worst environment for self improvement.
Yeah, it can be definitely difficult. But I mean, again, if okay, say like you go to a massive. Do you have any idea what kind of universities you're looking at?
Um, yeah, I mean, in think in Leeds, I ended up going to one in Leeds.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
just because it has some good film schools there. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Leeds. Okay, so if it's like the bigger the university, I'd say, the higher the chance, of course, you're going to find people who are similar to you, kind of thing. So,
yeah,
it's,
I mean,
I think
yeah,
Leeds is pretty big. So,
there's 6 universities in Leeds, so
oof,
that's a
yeah,
lot of students.
yeah. You're bound to find at least one person who is somewhat, similar to, your kind of personality, your character. So,
Mm,
yeah, I think that definitely helps. Like where I'm at is a very small campus, so there's a large,
yeah,
smaller pool of people, so there's less chance I'm gonna find someone who's similar to me, my ambitions, all that kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Do you want to just tell people where they can find you on maybe YouTube, or if you have any social medias up still, or to check out your
Yeah,
films or whatever it might be?
sure. Okay. So I mean, I have a channel currently with 2 videos of self improvement. I think about doing more. The first one was literally just uploaded for myself, but then I
All
uploaded
right.
one literally just today.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of doing more because I've just been inspired by people like you and other creators. Um,
Nice, man.
but yeah, so that's just Benjamin Newton on YouTube, um, and then Shot by Newton, like at Shot by Newton is my handle on Instagram and Twitter for like my kind of personal professional stuff. So like the film work, I put pictures there of like things I do on other people's shoots and my kind of film reviews, things like that. And then BNF Productions, which is here. That's that's the company which I own. So that's BNF Productions, BNF underscore Productions on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, BNF Productions on Facebook. Um, and then the website is benjaminnewtonproductions.com. And that's where you can find all the films, the newsletter, the podcast, um, everything basically. So yeah, if you're interested in anything that I said, or just films, then I think benjaminnewtonproductions.com is where you can get directed to everything I do.
Perfect. Very well said. Thank you, man. Really enjoyed this talk. It was nice to have you on. drop some gems, some bombs of knowledge. I appreciate it, man.
That's very generous. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me on. That was a good talk. It's nice and refreshing to kind of find people like the younger generation that have big goals and ambitions, and kind of similar values to
Absolutely.
me. I think it's important. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what
it's really
talks with
inspiring.
Timoski is about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's inspiring what you're doing with the
I
Discord,
appreciate
your
that.
YouTube, this series alone. So yeah, keep up what you're
I
doing.
appreciate that, bro. Thank you, bro.